I think we're starting a new video here. Basically, full-blown depression hit me yesterday. I guess I slept pretty much all day and all night. It was a hot day. I went out for a walk and then I had a beer, but other than that and work, I basically watched videos, listened to videos while I was snoozing. And just every time I would wake up in the middle of the night or whatever, I was like, I can't bother. So I'm going to try to slip a little bit in here. A little bit of time before. So what do we got here? Totman. Alright, these are my big red ones. Now I have to be careful. I can't multi-command. But in order to get my army morale up, I could do a raid. This doesn't feel like the force I want to raid with. I gotta be careful though, because of my commander there. So I could go 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to need to mark these guys with that. I got to check my cards though. Do I want to prevent field battles? There's a breach. That would be a field battle. This is the turn to fire that off. I don't know that it's... I don't know. I don't think he's going in. But I think I'm at a significant disadvantage right now because of the commands, etc. So I'm going to actually play that card. And none of these appear to be things I want to play. Okay. Having definite trouble getting back into the flow of the game. I was doing pretty well before. I think we'll pick it up. Alright, that's these yellow guys with no commander between them. I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, so I don't want to move that in. I don't think I want to move anybody in there, but let's take a look. It's not November, December. This is something we want to do. Subtract 1 from the die roll for all mine and counter mine. Place 3 Cernide or 2 Venetian infantry in Palma. You know, some of me says I want to just play this, create the units, and give the Austrians a victory point. Well, I can't play it. Alright. I can't play it if I'm going to draw a card. And that's what I think I'm going to do. Although this guy's pretty safe here. He could go 1, 2, 3. Let's just draw a card. I don't see a reason. Uh-oh, it's mandatory. Return 2 units of your choice from eliminated units in Venetian Austrian areas. Allow play of card number 36. Interesting. Well, I can't discard this. It's mandatory. I'm going to discard this one because it gives victory points away, and I don't particularly want to do that. That's the one reason I wasn't, kind of going gung-ho on playing it. Okay, this is the purples up here. Alright. These guys don't have enough movement points to raid and get back. Actually, they do. 1, 2, 3. Alright, we will raid with them. We don't have anything mandatory. the rate is on a 1 or a 2. They're out of supply, but that's okay. That doesn't affect, I think they're out of supply. I don't know, I'm having trouble remembering, but the camp is so far away at this point from the northern areas. That, yeah, okay. I think we succeeded in our raid. That means these units are back in supply. They were temporarily out of supply at the beginning of this. But again, that just doesn't do anything. So I have no idea what that means. But the biggie is I increased my morale, and now I'm back functioning again. And maybe I didn't need this temporary truce. It doesn't allow field battles. Gotta take a break for a moment. I have the hard time of finding this command, and this is actually one of the flaws to me in this system, is unlike Chitpul in some of the tactical games or some other games, the commands here are too likely spread out and hard to find. And in this case, well, I've lost a couple that were down here somewhere, but there's some up here for some reason, and it's hard to remember. I would have liked to have drawn a card with this, but I've got this stupid mandatory card. Return 2 units of your choice from the eliminated units in Venice, Austria. Okay, and that allows some card 36 that I don't know if we've seen. We may have played it already, or maybe, wait, it's in this pool. Okay. So 2 units that are destroyed, well, I would like more artillery. And these show up in the Venice area. And we'll throw this in with them. You know, it's going to be hard to get this artillery up there. That's the problem. Whereas a couple of cav would be very easy to return. And I'm not sure. I mean, I definitely would rather have the artillery back. These guys have no reason to move, and I can send them up that way. They're not my best units by any means, but whatever. Okay. What do I want to do with these guys if I have to move them? Well, let's try to luck. This is an area, but I can't go in there. This is an area, but it's well defended now. I honestly just don't think I want to do anything with that piece. And now we're at the... Oh, you know what? I drew that card. I think I can move these guys, because the card is played. Let's see the sequence apply. A command marker is randomly drawn. Units of the commander activated and or cards are played. I'm going to say it's my order choice. 1, 2, 3. Put an activation marker on that because we don't know what's going on. All right, we get our bombardiers. Well, we don't have a whole lot of choices. I'm going to bombard inside there. Now, here I have to look something up, because bombarding through a breach reduces fire value by 1. And I think that's in either direction. Again, not clear. The miner, I don't know. I could deploy more mines, I guess. I don't want to do that. I'm going to just fire my cannons, try to reduce that city. And I blow a cannon up. That would have definitely picked it up there, and get just one hit because of the reduction. That one hit, well, I don't want to take it on these. I'll take it on a militia. Hey, they've got a reduced value. Cool. I don't think I need anything there. Was there a card I wanted to move? Probably not. Okay. Technically, I think I should be dropping another mine in there. Let's, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to mine a wall that's already breached. It does, but I just don't want to do it. Okay. These are the grays. There's a fair number of these with a commander over here. Let me think about these guys for a moment. If I wasn't out of attack supply here, this would be an excellent time to attack up here. Yes, it has 2 forts, but there's a booty, the camp is there, all kind of yummies there. Unfortunately, that doesn't help me. And I don't really want to just abandon this fort. It's a good location. I want to get my camp down where I can command forces over here. But that's not something I can do right away. These guys are pretty good. And they're on defense at least. And I'm kind of at a loss as to anything useful I could do. So, you know, if raiding somehow actually put you in supply for your next activation or something, it would make sense to launch a raid against, you know, one of these areas. With these units. Unfortunately, that's not how the rules are written. I feel like that was the intention, was you raid with units and you get a supply capacity that you can launch an actual attack with, so that it makes, you know, you're living off the land more, and so you have a lot less capabilities for attacking. And I'm kind of considering, do I want to do this? You know, do I want to use something like this as a I'm supplied for my next activation marker? Because as it stands, raiding doesn't do a fucking thing. Of course, the supply rules mean I can't raid with much. If I can find the combat supply rule. Like, that's not a, oh, there it is. I thought it was not under supply. It is. I have issues with seeing things. If a unit has attack supply from which line of supply is no longer. Yeah. So I could raid with 2 combat units. But again, the only units that are out of supply are the ones that are activated, which are the 2 that would be raiding. I think I'm just poisoned in terms of supply. Something needs to be worked out with that supply rules and the raiding. Something's very wrong with them. And I do feel like I should be able to raid with a couple of units and then have supply for that whole command. Do I want to make up that rule? Well, I don't know. Not really. So I don't see anything I terribly can do, which means I'll just draw a card. I am allowed to draw a card, right? Did I play the mandatory card this time? Was this the guy? This was not the guy I played the mandatory card for, I don't think. I don't know. I played it for those blue guys. So I get a card. And this will be place the indicated units in the Austrian area only after January, February 16. This is going to be forced to be played now. If I'm playing by the rules, it is legitimate, but it would have set the timer otherwise. And wow, I'm really struggling to make my way through this. Unfortunately, I have to get my shots today. So I want to make it through the turn this morning. Ooh, we got a whitey. Whitey is here. Now the camp is close to here. So I could actually move some forces forward. These are shitty forces though, and there's no commander in that area. Do I want to discard a card? Not particularly. So one of the problems is I've got this must use that I don't want to use, but I think I have to. Okay. Well, no, I definitely have to. So Wallenstein's 2 units come into play. Hey. The young colonel. And they're going to be showing up in Austria. And this is going. And now, what were we? Gray? No, white. Just push these forward, I guess. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I don't know if we have that chip in play. There it is. That has to come in, otherwise I won't be able to move those units. The blacks. Where'd they go? They're down here. Those are purple. We have supply, but we no longer have a good attack vector that we want it. And I feel somewhat stymied in terms of doing anything valuable. So I'm just going to draw a card. Unless I have a mandatory. Oh look, I got one. Flip back into good order 2 Venetian disorganized units. Oh, that's not good. Okay. Keep drawing. Purple. That's these guys. I got some over here. Now these are light cav. Light cav are awesome. We're going to do a light cav attack on these yummies here. And basically, I can move in 1, 2, 3. I can't do 2 attacks with them. They're not in that clean a plane. Wow. And I got 2 hits over here. That's pretty cool. This is during field combat. I couldn't have used that there to cause more damage as far as I read things. These yellows, out of supply, not really able to do anything. One reason to stay in Trieste is if the Venetians move here, you can start pounding into them, but they don't really want to do that. One thing I can do is next turn I can move this supplies to Montfaucon and thereby open up the possibility of attacks over here. I don't feel like I don't think supply is really that valuable. It doesn't matter for defense. It might if I have to recuperate units. I don't know what I just drew. Did I draw something? I drew the Trieste card. I have a mandatory card, so I have to do something. I have light cav, which can actually do an attack. Okay, the mandatory flip back into good order 2 Venetian disorganized units. Do I have any Venetian disorganized units? You know, I don't see any. It's kind of a mess, but... And the Venetians get 2 morale because their camp is in supply. And I was going to do a light cav raid. Which does not succeed. And this is activated. I'm not going to use that, so I don't really need the counter there, and I'm out of counters and still have commands left. And commands which matter. For example, up here, I don't know if there's anything I terribly want to do. So much of the game is kind of I don't know. Can't really see an action there, so we'll draw a card. And what do we get here? Heavy rains, a number of locations that you can't use. I'm always disturbed by these kind of cards. These are the player is able to control the weather. You know, he's sitting on a card that causes these rains and gets to choose whether or not to use them. And I know there's been some hand-wavy type arguments as to why it's not that it's that you're prepared for the weather. No, it's not, because if that was the case, you're always prepared for the weather, except for in the case where your opponent holds that card, and then your opponent has made you not prepared for the weather. That's one side of it. But what it really comes down to is you're determining when. This is actually more than that, because both people are prepared unless he plays this, if that's here. So this is just I control this flooding event, and neither player is affected. You know, both players are affected by it, and I decide when the floods happen, and that always feels alien to me. I hate it in CDGs. I'm not particularly fond of it here. I don't mind it so much in War of the Ring, where, you know, you've got Sauron and like Galadriel and Elrond, who might actually be doing something about this. But just to make that argument that I must always make. We were not rated here. What do we want to do? I don't know. We don't want to attack. Well, you know what? We're at an advantage on an attack, although he has a defensive advantage. But what if we hit him? He is not in supply and might have to fall back. Let's launch an attack. All right. So that's 5 red dice. Oh wow, wait, there's multi-round battles and I have lost. It's very hard for me to remember the advanced rules, to tell you the truth. Fight a combat round. If the number of hits is equal for both players, continue another round. If a player wins a round, he inflicts more hits. He chooses whether to continue or finish the battle. I have not been doing that. Okay, well, we'll try to pay attention now. So I got 2 hits, and they have 2 3s, 2 3s, 3 2s, 4 2s. Okay, both sides took 2 hits. Both sides would have to agree for this to continue, and both sides do not agree. We had, he actually needed, we have bad terrain in combat. Is terrain effect on combat in the, yeah. A fire value of 3 was reduced by 1, but I still did the 2 hits that I did. Okay, so we were flung back, and did I get my counter in the right place? I think so. Did I check to see if they wanted to play a card? No, I did not. What about this? Udine Cividale. Okay, I should be able to tell which counter is in use. I'm actually going to play this to get it out of play. Heavy and prolonged rains in Butrio. All units in the following areas cannot be moved this turn. Oh, we couldn't have a field battle. I don't know. So, I just draw a card instead. Place 2 Venetian reinforcement infantry belonging to a command already in play, or to the command Istria in the Venice. Play only after March, April. I'm going to toss this one into the pile. Don't really need it right now, and may later. Okay. 1 chip remaining, and then the turn is over. And that's this central. Okay. What is involved in an activation? I believe activation, well, let me see how this is, because I've been mixing bombardment, mining, which makes sense, but does it make sense with other things? And that's what's not clear to me. Activating, when a command is activated, to activate any unit, select the area. When any unit is activated, it can do one of the following. So yes, I can do all sorts of things. So this guy can recover as his activation. The artillery can fire. Now I believe that artillery is at -1 on its firing rate. Because of the breach now. I could shoot something else. Would that make sense? How are these hurt? Jesus. Did I attack them? I light cavalried them. Okay. But is that field battle? Jesus, I hate this. And attacking it. Okay, that's not specified whether that's a field battle or not. I feel like it probably is. I don't know. Let's recover them too. We're saying that battle didn't happen. And again, okay, but this is not a field battle. This is an artillery barrage, which is allowed. I mean, shooting this is no better than shooting that, to tell you the truth. So let me fire at these where I get full value. And I hit one of them. And let me try to, I can't repair the breach. You know, honestly, if I can't repair the breach, this doesn't matter anymore. Okay. Yeah, the breach can't be repaired. You can only repair if it's got a number on it. I remember that roll from somewhere. All right, the cup is dead. I feel like this game needs some development work. Not just the raids, but there's a number of other things where it's clunking a little hard. This is remove when used, and we finish up the turn. That development work may be in the rules themselves in terms of just the presentation of the rules. I'm not sure. this is a style of rules with pictures and whatever in it that I'm finding it hard to sink in. The splitting into basic and advanced to me is a bad idea. But again, it feels like the advanced rules aren't as well polished as the basic rules. But by distinguishing them, it becomes harder because some of the advanced rules are withdraw or significantly modify the basic rules. So I find myself flipping through the rules, finding the basic rule and applying that. It's not like some extra chrome added to the game. It's like there are two sets of rules that needed to exist, and one of them is a basically replace stuff with this, that if it was just the supply rules, it would be one thing. But when you're changing the way field combat works to have multiple rounds, when I don't know, it's just there's a sufficiently large number of pieces that it feels kind of like the Magic Realm type or squad leader type of rules insertion procedure that I find impossible to retain in my memory. So I'm playing with like half the advanced rules because I can't remember the other half because they weren't developed as a consistent singular set of rules. I know that's a weird thing to argue about because there are other games where I have no problem with, there's a couple of advanced rules in it. And then there are things like GBOH that I've been playing recently where, it's got the same kind of problem, but I'm playing enough of it that it sinks in. That's the squad leader thing, right? In squad leader, it's okay that there's a bunch of these special case rules, or in Starfleet Battles when it first came out, in the sense of, well, if you're playing this game, you're probably playing it a fair amount. That isn't the case with this, and I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Got my second Pfizer shot today, and I felt kind of lousy, heartburn mainly. Nowhere near as bad as last time for the first one, but and I was expecting the second to be worse from what I heard. But the depression that it engendered from it not being that much worse put me back into my state. I've been fiddling around. You can see some actions have been taken mainly with cards. I screwed up. I forgot to move this here. I wanted to, and that unit has already gotten its command, which is okay. I had to recover a strength point, so it's not that terrible a thing. By the way, that card that opens something up, card 11 here. This has not been played, and this is required for this. I didn't notice that. Wait, maybe this was played. Who knows? Return 2 units from the eliminated units. Yeah, this was played already. So I will be able to get the NASA troops into play. But yeah, not much has happened, in part because I didn't put this here and the particular choices that came up. One of the more exciting things that took place, which was a sortie against these guys. And both sides took 2. The Venetians do not want casualties. Wait a minute, why is this guy here? I may have to. I hit something that was Austrian when I should have hit a Venetian unit. We can't afford to lose our artillery, although we may need to get out of there when we get a movement. because this has become problematic. The breach can't be repaired by my reading of the rules, so that's okay. After a little bit more piddling around back here and whatnot, this big red command moved in under its leader through the main city and attacked this. It was able to pin that down because of this card, which the confusion in the Venetian command. There's a few cards that screw the Venetians from moving, and in this case they had two different components there. So more forces moved in, but then the Habsburgs threw more in. Now, they lost both leaders off this counter during that combat, and that can't be restored. But they've gained a territory and protected that breach that they have now for whatever that matters. Right now, everything's just kind of frozen. I feel like I need to do this turn. I will place a die there to remind me of that, and otherwise we're just going to clean up the stuff, move here, and then we'll have morale hit again, which is going to throw the Austrians into a little bit of disarray. They twice used leaders to bring additional troops into this space, but now we've caused a lot of casualties on the Venetians, which, whatever. See, we stepped back a little bit and covered things in a more abstract level, not worrying about the per card basis and whatnot. I'm a lot happier describing games at that level, and I'm beginning to get the grip on how to do it with this. Just like it takes me a while to do with CDGs and whatnot. This one's, you know, I'm about halfway through and I'm starting to play the game the way I like to play games. If I'm going to describe them, I'm going to describe them lightly. On the other hand, it does help to see the mechanisms in play. My fortitude for even playing decreases, and I resort to taking my pension in loneliness and alcohol. Thank you, Billy. We move into the last turn of the year. That results in a reduction of morale, which is already accounted for. I've moved the supply over here. That reduction of morale is important because it means that the Austrians will not be able to combine for attacks. I could fix that. I could fix that by doing a raid, which maybe I'll do. On the other hand, maybe it's not absolutely vital. We'll see. And it's time to start drawing chits. I cheated, it seems. When I raided here, that's not one of the places that's available. And I really wish the color coding meant something. Adjacent areas to the river. Okay, the Austrian player can raid all eligible areas with a name on the map west of Gradisca, which this is not. It is neither named nor west of Gradisca. I'll leave it be, but whatever. Now, notably, it doesn't matter that whether the camp is there or not. And this is interesting because you get a bonus for raiding the camp. In addition, Sagrado, Monfalcone, and Muggia, which two of them are here. I don't know where Muggia I'm sitting on, which means I probably could have raided it at another point in the game, but did not here. Anyway, what's done is done. I do not have any mandatory cards, so I guess I'll be drawing. And look, more troops. I'm going to back away because it just gets kind of boring when I'm just pulling chits and doing stuff. Anyway, I draw this chit, and I've lost a few units of this command, and I don't believe there are any left on the board. I'm not absolutely certain. Where would I find them if they were? Yeah, I don't see any. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this up here. It's a little weird because things could come out of here that trigger it as well, and I got to be careful. Maybe I should just leave it in the cup and say, you know what? nothing happens when it gets drawn, which is pretty much what I had to do here anyway. There aren't rules that hammer out what happens, whether I get an action where I'd be drawing a card or whatever. My best guess is if there's nothing of that formation on the board, it should just be ignored. What I'm going to do, there's nothing that says I have to move to raid. I'm going to do a raid here. Now, I'm not in command. I can only do a 2-point raid. And actually, I don't place this until I do. I'm also playing this card, which generated a bunch of units for Venice. And you might say, well, why are you doing that? Because I get a victory point. I don't know. Maybe it's not such a good idea. Maybe it's not such a good idea. It's still early in the game. But the victory point levels is so low right now that I'm tempted to generate a point. But the problem is those extra troops could mean actually that that breach could be handled. So holding the card may be better. And I succeed in the raid. I guess I put a marker on a couple of these units. Get myself a point of morale. And these 2 units are in supply until they're activated again, I guess, for whatever that may happen to mean. I don't know. And the rest of these should have an out of supply marker on them, but I cannot justify those. There might be cards that cause that, so yeah. Oh, no, I did not activate them. I only activated these 2 units, so those guys are not out of supply. Yeah, I think the supply rules really need to be reworked. Pushing the Venetians around to this side, and that's threatening valuable stuff over here. I've got to decide what to do with this command. This is what I just drew. This fort here could be problematic if I leave it empty. I could attack these and probably get myself a lot of kills that way. Kills aren't worth anything. Alternatively, maybe I could make an attack into here. The camp is there. I could knock that off the board, causing real problems for Venice in terms of supplies down here. I could also launch an attack into here. I don't know. I really don't know. I put my command down here, my supplies down here with the intention of doing something. But I don't know what that something is. I'm tempted into here. This looks so this is the best for killing stuff. And killing this stuff would be really useful, but knocking the camp out would be as useful in the sense that these guys would remain disordered. They'd be out of supply and disordered and unable to do anything. And there's something, maybe, it depends on how you view things, that like maybe they could be in supply for their next activation. I don't think so. I have no idea. Okay, so let's go for that. I thought I was in range where I could pull these guys in. If I could launch the attack all the way up here, I could do it. Because, yeah, these guys are actually in range. I could just take Gorizia. I think that makes more sense. I'm in command. Hey, why not? Yeah. And that's got value. It's also worth 10 victory points on its own if I can hold it till the end of the game. And it's looking to me like the Austrians are starting to collapse here. One of these before. That's 1 victory point. Okay. At this point, I think we can say that trying to, get a victory point off of a card doesn't make a lot of sense anymore. Because now I'm sitting on 10 victory points plus that 1. Real things are in play now, and it's time to pay attention to real things. More rather minor maneuvering. Overstacked these guys, which is going to come at a cost, but that's what happens. And it's a worse cost because we just played a card, but I didn't activate the unit yet. Got these lights who are going to make an attack into here. Remember, lights can move in, attack, and move out, and assuming this is not a mountainous region, I can do it, which it's not. Yeah. But I also played the river card, which caused, some further disruption both here and here. And maybe even more importantly, it moved the turn marker back again, which now means there's less time for Austria to make up the losses that they've taken already. And with Austria having taken some reinforcements, the ones that moved into here, they're now 2 points back, even if I regain these 10 points. That puts us to the end of the turn. The 16, 17 cards just go right on top. Whatever's going to happen there is just going to happen. Now, I haven't studied the cards, and for good reason. If you understand me, I like to be surprised by things. And I don't believe this is a game where, studying the potential actions of the future is a necessarily... it's going to help you win the game, but I don't think it's going to provide you with a better experience. I think the best experience is like with something like Europa Universalis or the good kind of CDGs, like Amateurs in Arms, or Amateurs 2 Arms. I don't remember. It's over there. I can't read whether it says in or two. You're kind of surprised by the events as they come. There might be a few that you really want to prep for and know about in advance. We'll see if that's the case here. I feel like some of the other actions are no big deal. Some bombardment took place at the end. That was about the only exciting thing. Disrupted a unit, but also lost a cannon, which is, of course, a problem. But yeah, it doesn't look good for the Austrians at this point. Do I want to stop here? I'm definitely stopping for the night. It's whether I want to load, and I don't particularly want to load it up. We'll go another 3 months. I have no idea how long my camera's alive. How long the video is going to be. This one doesn't tell me information like that anymore. I'm trying to push myself through here. Unfortunately, I think I would really be enjoying this game the second time I play it. After I kind of make up some more rules for it. Again, I feel like some things with the supply rules, etc. need a little bit of thought, but also if I was just in a better mental state. Anyway, we drew this guy to open things up, and that's this command. He's too far from the camp to recover. So, I may not want him there. This was one. We'll get him to there instead. This is too risky a position given where the Venetians are. But I did play this, which canceled out one of the Venetian corps. Ability to move, and it was the perfect time to play it because, and one of the reasons why I took the action with the unit, because there were no chits that could go back, and the only restriction is that there has to be one that you could cancel. Oh shit, but I failed to roll, so 4, 5, or 1, 2, or 3, that goes back in there, and I shouldn't have drawn it out. No. Okay, so this one has already been, it's not going to get an activation is what it comes down to. These guys are officially out of supply, but I can't think of any reason why that matters. Interesting challenge here. Drew this one. Now, there's so many, this is a big command that's spread all over the place. I gotta hold this. This has to be held, but I'm not there. I could move into there in the hopes of moving the blues down where they can be recovered and thus defend this. I could move straight down, which I don't think is as wise. I could try to do something with this force. For example, covering Rubia, which might be very valuable, but here's the problem. Rubia is, if I cover Rubia, I'm opening up a hole on the breach there. Yeah, that might be the best move. My basic calls are the move to Rubia, the move down to Chiavoretto, or I guess I could recover this or something, but that doesn't seem much use. Or I could move the camp out of here. Rubia itself is only worth one of these. I am so torn as to what to do, but I think this is the action I take. And I'll move the activated marker here so I know not to use it again. I'm not thrilled with any of the options, though. I feel like the Austrians are in a lot of trouble right now. We've already lost something, haven't we? Yeah, we lost Gorita, so success. Coming off my supply base on the Adriatic, I pushed this command into there. It succeeded 2 rounds of battle because I succeeded in the first, so I get to get kind of a pursuit round. I think that's very powerful. You're able to the basic game rules, I think, don't allow you to have as decisive a battle situation. But also, I was finally able to play the Nassau card, and that brings all of this in. This is the exact location where it had to come in. There was some risk. If I didn't win this battle, I could have ended up with way too many units here, with neither of them being able to move unless something special happened. But as it is, that comes, and I get a victory point for it. Again, it looks like Venice is winning this pretty handily. There's something that's been harassing me for a while. First of all, I may have cheated. Well, I know I cheated. When I moved one of the camps, maybe both of them, I moved them 2 spaces. They're only allowed to move 1. Okay. But the other thing is, I have no units here, and that means I will never be able to move this camp, as long as that's the case. Again, feels like a problematic situation that, you know, I understand, yeah, you should have your forces that are in command there should be triggered with the camp, whatever. But it does feel kind of stupid that if I feel completely comfortable with my camp being exposed here, which I shouldn't, you know, right? I really shouldn't. But it could also end up very easily, if it gets knocked out, somewhere like Venice, where again, I'm not going to be able to bring it up. You should be able, the option that I would suggest is, if you don't have a command with the camp or whatever, if you have a command that you don't want to move, instead of moving it, you can declare it exists with the camp, sort of invisibly or whatever. Now, I couldn't do that with the one that's not on the board. That shit shouldn't be on the in play, as far as I'm interpreting things. But again, the rules are not really complete, so that's a problem. To fix that, I've moved this thing down. That may expose something of some value, but you know, I need to be able to move my camp because the front is moving this way. And my army is basically unable to do anything. In fact, I think these guys are out of supply. I think that special supply marker. Well, this is bordering the Adriatic, so I could move this here next turn so that I can recover those units. But again, you know, it's not really what I want to do, but it's not a bad solution. If I do that, this becomes a problem. Now, with these guys, I just passed, and they're actually threatened, and Trieste could easily be taken, so yeah, that's not a good solution. I drew something when I passed with them. That's one of the 16-17 cards, and it's some troops, and it's going to handcuff me into having to activate. I won't be able to pass. So I might get a command that doesn't really want to do anything, but there's no option there. And I do get a command. Let's see where he is. This is, I think they just got wiped out. Let's not count them. There are more of them there, so I'll do the same thing as I did with the other one where it doesn't really exist, and that puts me to these guys who I'll draw a card for, but that's probably going to handcuff me too. No, it's not a mandatory. In every area with 1 to 2 units, disorganized 1 unit, 3 or 4. No, if every unit with 1 or 2, 3 or 4 remove a unit, more remove 2 units, move 1 position back in the final turn. Wow. And it destroys morale. This might actually be a good event for Venice right now because they're so far ahead in victory points. We'll see. That ends the turn. Soon after that, what did I do? I got the bombardiers. There's not much left of them. The cannon are all gone and everything. I got the breach, so what the hell? And so I took a pass and drew myself a mandatory card that I don't really want. It does good stuff for the Austrians. 2 units get disorganized, but if the Austrian camp is supplied, yeah, they're going to get 2 morale because I'm not going to be able to cut that supply line going back to Austria. That's a pretty hard thing. You really kind of have to surround. Now, I'm not far, am I? Oh, maybe it's not supplied. Ooh. Now I'm having to trace supply through weird ways, like out here, and I don't think that makes it. Okay, we're getting into the silly, you can draw supply lines all over the map, and I think I'm blocked because there's an X here. This is just a victory point marker. So I can swing through here up to here. All right, we made it to here, and now we make it back to Austria, going up this way. So yes, I'm technically in supply, but not through a believable route. What would be more believable? Well, you know, you could say, well, if there's a gap there, maybe there's a gap here. Oh, wait, no, here's the line. Okay, I got a much more reasonable route. I thought I didn't see this division. The map is difficult for me to read. Those yellow triangles kind of jump out at you. These look like faint little roads. What looks more like a division than those? I know that I've seen things that look, yeah. I know that there's things on the board that I've seen that look like they're borders that aren't, and that maybe these trace lines here that are rivers, roads, whatever. I don't know. I mean, this doesn't look like a river, it's brown, but when you look at how it moves, I think it is supposed to be a stream or something. But yeah, the divisions into territory don't really look clear. And then here, this looks like a bunch of areas that I could be in that I don't think I can. Although, who knows, maybe that's part of this, I don't know. It's not clear, you know, can I move from here to here? I don't know. That may be specified somewhere. Anyway, we're going to send this one up because I'm having real trouble moving through at any speed. I don't know how much we're actually seeing, you know, of the game, but I'm learning things that if I were to play it again right away, things that I would change about the game, but also how I would deal with it a little bit better. Things that I wouldn't screw up, like leaving my camp unattended, so that it could be, well, not necessarily captured, but other problems as well. All right, let's send it up. This isn't worth victory points, is it? It's just worth this, but yeah, we can't really afford to give shit up. We're such bad shape for the Austrians right now.